Hello?
Yes.
Fulfill your desire, ignite the fire, back
Hello
through
everyone,
the
I'm
tough
Darshi,
times.
and
Sometimes it's
I am the
263.
host for the today's event alongside Navya. Till we are starting the today's evening, I would like to first of all, break the ice with you all. So, beginning with it, I would like to ask, a very beginner level question. If you could travel anywhere in the world for your next vacation, where would you want to go?
Well, that's definitely Europe.
If you want to answer, guys, could you please just raise your hand so that we could know who is answering? I could see the hands of Jyotsna being raised. If you could please tell us the answer.
I would really like to visit Nottingham in UK.
Okay, fancy choice. Anybody else? You could just follow the queue because I'm not able to see all of your hands raised. I could see Harshvardhan wanting to say something.
Well, that would be definitely a Europe country.
Okay,
Most probably a place like Oxford or London. Most probably.
okay, cool. Anybody else? You could just follow the queue. Karthik Pandey. If you're still there, you could answer the question.
Hi, hi, I'm Ayush. I'd probably go to Switzerland.
Okay, wow, that's all really interesting.
Okay, so I could see many of the hands being raised, but as we are on short of the time, we would love to start the webinar. Rest of you who are willing to give answers, you could drop your answers in the chat box if you are willing. And if there is time left at the end of the webinar, we'll continue with the icebreaker round. So let's start today's webinar. So firstly, we would like to introduce both of us. So Gagi, you could start.
Hello everyone, this
This
is
is
Gayatri and
This is Navya, and we'll be your host for today's evening. We're pretty sure that each one of your young minds would be dreaming of a bright and successful future. But is dreaming enough? The key to a brilliant future or a brilliant career comes with the first step. That is getting into a super good university. Hmm. Easy for us to say, but we all know the reality. The competition in today's world is too much to cope up with. And on the top of that, a lovely great cutoff of the colleges. It is almost very, very difficult to get into your dream university.
so what's the solution then, Navya?
The solution is pretty easy with ACT. ACT is a mission driven, non profit organization dedicated to helping people achieve education and workplace success. Grounded in more than 60 years of research, it is a trusted leader in college and career readiness solutions. Each year, ACT serves millions of students, job seekers, schools, government agencies, employers in the US and around the world with learning resources, assessments, research, and many other credentials designed to help them succeed from their elementary, school throughout their career. ACT test is a leading college admission test that measures what a student learns in high school to determine his or her career readiness for the university. It is used by universities to evaluate the undergraduate applicants, all the four-year universities in the US, and in more than 400 universities outside US accept and value the ACT.
Doesn't this sound really captivating to you all? Mr. Risham Malhotra is here with us today to guide you through the beautiful ACT journey. Mr. Risham Malhotra is a business development manager for ACT Inclusive in India and has around 5 years of experience working in multiple sectors. He has worked with organizations like Pearson PTE, Upgrade Abroad, and supported ETS, TOEFL, and GRE to grow in Indian market earlier. He has completed his PGDM from Birla Institute of Management Technology, PGP in marketing from IMT Ghaziabad, and holds a diploma in graphic designing from MAAC. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Please guide us through the ACT journey.
Thank you so much, Karke and Navya, for the wonderful introduction and wonderful start. I welcome all the students, parents, teachers who all are there in the webinar. Thank you so much for joining in on Saturday evening, especially. Uh, it feels so great to see more than 80 to 100 participants in the webinar, and we all are we are very excited to learn about ACT. So, Gargi, I would request you if you can just pull up the presentation for me.
Oh, I will like to ask Navya to pull up the presentation instead.
Sure, sir. Just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes.
Sure. Thank you. So we can keep the this session interactive. In case if you have any questions, any doubts, just drop in the chat box, and I would love to answer that after the presentation is over. And in the meanwhile, in the between, if you have any questions, you can still drop down the message. In case if I'm able to answer that time, I would love to answer that. So in the meanwhile, how many students are interested in first of all, how many students know about the ACT test? Great to see so many hands up. Perfect. And how many of you want to study in the US or who are planning to do their graduation in abroad? Great. I can see a lot of hand raised. It's nice. That's great. So I think this session would really help you all in understanding about the ACT test and how you can get into your dream universities, how you can get into your Ivy Leagues in the US, how you can get in top universities in India as well. So ACT is not only accepted in US, it is accepted by top universities. Navya, do you want me to share the presentation? I can do that in case if you are facing some problem. Okay, it's there.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, perfectly fine. It's visible. You can just put it in the presentation mode.
Can you please tell me the full form of ACT?
Earlier, there used to be a full form. It was American College Testing, but now it is only ACT. So earlier it used to be American College Testing.
Okay, sir.
Navya, can you please put it in the presentation mode?
I did it. Is it visible? I put on the
No,
slideshow.
we can see the other slides as well. You can just see on the bottom right, there is a button of there's one icon for the presentation mode. Just on the left side of the Zoom bar. Yes.
Sir, can I know something? Like ACT is easier or SAT is easier
I
compared
think
to
first of all, let's go through the presentation. Most of the questions would be answered in the presentation. I'm sure is it cuckoo, right? So you will get a lot of answers in the presentation, and if your questions are still unanswered, you can definitely reach out. And after the session, we are going to have a 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A, where I would be more than happy to answer all your queries. Navya, I don't think it is going in the presentation mode. If you can just unshare and reshare your entire screen instead of just sharing the window.
Sure, sir. Let me see. It's kind of lagging because I put
Yeah.
it in the. Just a second.
Anybody here who is writing the ACT or the SAT test? Just you can just type in the
Actually,
chat box. Yeah, please tell me.
Now
Yeah,
is it
now it's perfect. Yes, yes.
okay?
So I think let's start, and we can take the questions and the discussion after the presentation is over. So we will also have some questions in between in case if anybody wants to answer that. And I would love if I get the answers from you guys, you can just drop in the answers in the chat box as well. Okay, so let's start. So I think Gargi and Navya have already given the introduction for the ACT test. I'll just say it in more simpler words. So ACT is the undergraduate test. It is basically the admissions test to get admission into the US universities for the undergraduate. So in case if you are planning to study in US, or in case if you're planning to study in any other country for your graduation, even in India, you need to take the standardized test. So that's ACT. Uh, can we go on the next slide, please? Sure. So what we are going to talk about today, we will talk about the reasons to take the ACT test, what is the structure, what is the pattern of the test. We'll also talk about the scoring, what is my ACT, and I'm sure you might have heard a lot of buzz about what is test optional, test preferred, test blind. So we are going to talk about all these things in the coming slides. Next slide, please. What are the reasons to take the ACT? So it is accepted by all the US universities, and even now, all the universities in the US, they need the ACT or the SAT scores. So it is accepted by all the universities in the US. It is also accepted by more than 400 international universities. So that means outside US as well, ACT scores are being accepted. You not only get the admissions with the ACT test, but you also get the scholarships. When you are applying to the universities and you have good scores, you have a good profile, you get a lot of scholarships as well. This is the only test which has a science section in it. So there is no other test, no other standardized test which has a science section. So students who are from science background, they would definitely love to take the test and score better. And students who are not in the science background, who are not from the science background, they are from commerce, humanities, they do not have to worry. I will talk about this in the coming slides. So please stay connected. There are multiple opportunities to take the test every year. So this test happens around 28 times in a year. We'll talk about this as well. You get the scores in just 2 business days. So in case if the college deadline is near, if you are in a rush, you have to submit your scores, you can just take the test and get your scores in just 2 business days. Next slide, please. In case if you have any doubts, please write it in the chat box so that once I complete it, I can take all the questions one by one. What is the test delivery? So it is 100% computer-based testing. So everything happens on a computer. You do not have to use pen, pencil, paper, nothing. Everything will happen on a computer. Next. What is the structure of ACT? So there are 4 mandatory sections and 1 optional section in the ACT test. So we have English section, we have maths, we have reading, and then we have science. These 4 sections are mandatory and you have to do it in one sitting. That means in 3 hours, 35 minutes, you have to complete these 4 sections. Plus, there's an option to choose if you have to take the writing section or not. So you can skip the writing section or you can take the writing section. It depends on you, and you can check with your university in case if they need, if they need the writing scores. Next. So what are the general strategies for taking the ACT test? So just like any other test, this is also a test which judges something, which judges your English, maths, reading, and science. Now, what are the strategies? How you can score better in the ACT test? What you can do? First of all, pace yourself. Read the directions. What is there? So specifically for the English, reading, and science, they ask for the best answers, and the maths test asks for the correct answer. Now, what is the difference? In maths, we have only one correct answer, whereas in English, reading, and science, there might be more than one correct answers, but you have to choose which one is the best. You have to read each and every question carefully. There are several steps which by which you can just answer very quickly, because this is a time test and you have to be very sure about how much time. You have to be very confident at that time. You don't have to waste much time on one question, else you are going to lose out on the other questions that you might know. Use logic on more difficult questions. So that means we generally say do smart work instead of just doing hard work. Hard work is important, but yes, with hard work you need to do the smart work as well. You have to answer every question, so there is no negative marking, the best part. So that means you have to answer all the questions. It You would really, you never know if you are marking the right answer even if you don't know it. Then you can always review your work, what you have done. If you have missed any questions, so always a review is important at the last of the test, in the end of the test. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the first section, that's English. So it has 75 questions and it gives you 45 minutes to complete this. So all the questions which are there in English, maths, reading, and science are MCQ, multiple choice questions. So you do not have to write anything, you just have to tick mark the correct answer. Next, let's talk about what are the topics covered in the English section. So there are 75 questions in 45 minutes. You get 5 essays or 5 passages with multiple choice questions. Now, what does it judges? It judges your punctuation, your grammar, what is your sentence structure, your production of writing. There are questions on this. There are questions on cohesion. There is question of word choice, and what is the style of writing. So all these things are there in this. Next slide, please. This is one of the examples. So let's go through this example and just attempt the first part. So I'll just read it. Snowflakes form from tiny water droplets following a specific process of chemical bonding as they freeze, which results in a
This
six-sided
call
figure.
is now being
Anybody
recorded.
wants to answer this? So now we have to see on the underlined part, is it correct, or are there any commas required? If it is required, then which option would you like to choose? B, C, D, A, B, C, or D? Anybody would like to answer this? The first sentence is grammatically correct or not?
Sir, I think
The
it's
option.
grammatically correct.
Sir, no.
Even
Okay.
it's wrong.
What would be the right answer?
Last option.
D.
I think it's D.
The option should be
Sir,
D.
there is no
Definitely it should be
D.
D.
Okay,
Yes,
I'll
sir,
leave
D.
it up to
He's the
you.
correct
This
answer.
Okay, fine. So let's go on the next. D is right. Yes. Next slide, please. Then again, this is one of the example. Let's go to the next slide. I'll not take much of the time in this. So now what are the general tips? As I said, pace yourself. So whenever you are playing cricket, you just do not come and start hitting sixes on the very first ball. First, you pace yourself. You just do placements. After that, once you are set in the ground, at that time is the time when you start hitting fours and sixes. So exactly what you have to do is over here. You have to pace yourself. You have to answer each and every question in 1 minute 30 seconds. Be aware in the writing style. Understand the context. Third is examine the underlined portion. So you have to focus on the part which is underlined. That's where the question and the answers are hidden. Be aware of the questions which are not underlined. Determine the best answers. As I said, there might be more than one correct answers. You have to choose which one is the best. Then reread the sentence using your correct answer. So ultimately, when you are reading the sentence, you will, it comes to your mind, oh, now I think the punctuations, the grammars are right. So that's when you will come to know that whether you have marked the answer right or wrong. Next slide, please. Then let's talk about the maths section. I think most of the students would be interested or they might be feared of maths as well. So I've seen extremes in the math section. Someone is extremely, the favorite subjects is math, and for some students, the I would say students are very much feared of this math section. Let's go on the next section. So we can use a calculator over here as well. You can
सर एक
take,
क्वेश्चन था
sorry.
एक क्वेश्चन था
You can take it after the session. Yeah,
बोल
can you
सकता हो क्या?
please? हाँ, आप बोल सकते हो, बट हम ये स्लाइड्स खत्म हो जाएंगे उसके बाद लेते हैं मयूर. ओके,
ठीक है ठीक.
thanks. Can we go on the next slide? So we have 60 questions and it takes 60 minutes to complete it. So all the questions are again multiple choice questions. It takes there you have to do preparation of higher maths. Like there are questions which are divided. So we have questions on integration as well. We have questions on algebra as well. We have questions on trigonometry as well. So these are the questions that are included in the math section. But the syllabus in all these sections are till class 10th level. So nothing after 10th, when what you study in class 11th or 12th would be asked. The max difficulty level will be of the class 10th. Next slide, please. So what are the general preparation tricks? So these are the topics which would be covered. Numbers and quantity, there would be questions, 4 to 6 questions on number and quantity, 7 to 9 on algebra, 7 to 9 on functions and geometry, statistics. Then there would be questions on integrating essential skills. Now, what do you mean by this? This means the maths which you use on a daily basis, like rates, percentage, uh, surface area, volumes, average. These are the questions that you use on a daily basis. Then there are questions on modeling, which involves you're producing, interpreting, and then understanding, evaluating, and then improving models. Next slide, please. Okay, again, activity. Guys, let's get active. Let's talk about the fifth question. If f x equals to 3x plus 7 whole square, then if f is 1, then what is the answer? Ayush, you are really proactive
100.
guy.
E.
Anybody else?
E.
Yes, I.
100.
100.
Great. Right. So f is 1, then 3 plus 7 is 10, and 10 square is 100. Great. So these are the questions. So you can see a student who is from a commerce background, who is feared of maths, he can also attempt all these questions. So the agenda of showing you these questions is the difficulty is not that I am sure there would be a lot of questions that which test is easy, SAT or ACT. So I'm sure after seeing these questions, you will come to know that which test is easy, or maybe SAT is also easy. We can say that. So it depends on you which test you feel like is more easier. I would suggest you what you can do to find out which test would be easy for you. I'll take this after the slides are over, or maybe in the coming slides. Next slide, please. Again, next we can skip this. Okay, so what are the tips? So you get 1 minute on one question. Okay, sorry, I think the items and the minutes are wrong. So it's 60 questions, 60 minutes. So you get 1 minute per question. You can use a calculator, but use it wisely. What happens is once you have a calculator, for every silly, easy questions, you are still using the calculator. It is a waste of time. You can do it in your mind quickly. Solve the problem. You can scratch the paper. You can work backwards. You can see the answers and then apply to the question, and then so working backwards would also help you somewhere in locating the answers. Make sure you complete all the steps. Some questions are on the incomplete steps, so make sure that you do that. Plus, once you are done, check your work, what you have done. Maybe you have made any silly mistake. If you are just revising it quickly, you can just improve that, and you can mark the correct answers after that.
Sir, is this 100% MCQ?
Yes, it is 100% MCQ. So all the sections except writing, which is optional, all the 4 sections, English, maths, reading, and science, are MCQ. Next slide, please. So let's talk about the reading section. It is also 100% MCQ. I think we can go on the next slide. It has 40 questions and you get 35 minutes to solve these 40 questions. Next slide. So 3 contains one long passage and one contains two shorter passage. So this is basically the reading comprehension you would have done somewhere in your 9th, 10th, or maybe another competitive exam. So it is exactly like that. This is a reading comprehension that is given. So
सर आप
you have to
हिंदी में
derive.
बात कर सकते हो?
Mayur, I think most of the students, as they are from multiple cities, so they are comfortable this in English. But what you can do is you can reach out to me in case if you have any questions. I'll share my contact details. I'll help you directly. Okay.
Okay.
So this helps you. Okay. So we are on the reading test. Again, this is basically the reading comprehension. You have to read the passage and then you have to answer the questions. It's always better to read the questions first and then start reading the passage, go opposite. So this will help you to locate where your answer is exactly. Next slide, please. So this is one of the example. So what you can see over there is it's written 5, 10, 15, 20. Can you see the numbers on the left side of the passage? These are the lines. So there are questions like in sentence 9, this word is, what is the meaning of this word? So you don't have to actually count all the lines starting from 1. You can easily see that 10th line is there. So on the above of that is the 9th line. So for this, the numbers are given in the passages. Next slide, please. Okay, we can skip this. Next slide. Then what are the tips? So if you spend 2-3 minutes reading the passage, it's always good. Do not be in a hurry. Then 35 seconds per question is a good time to solve. If you have read the passage in a very good way, you have spent a good time in reading the passage, you would ultimately be able to solve all the questions in 35 seconds. It measures your key ideas and detail to attention. It measures your craft and structure, which means determining word, phrase meaning, all these things. Then there's integration of knowledge and ideas. That means you have to differentiate between the facts and opinions. Next slide, please. Then let's talk about the science section, the most interesting section. So I'll just repeat it. This is the only test which has a science section. Students who are from the science background would definitely score better in the ACT test. Next slide, please. This has 40 questions and you again get 35 minutes to complete this section. Next slide, please. So what are the general preparation strategies? There are questions on biology, there are questions on earth, space, sciences, chemistry, and physics, but you do not have to worry. As I said earlier, the difficulty is still class 10th level, and most of us have studied science till class 10th. So you will not be asked any typically rocket science formula based questions in the science section, but generally you will be asked for a graph reading. You will be asked for interpretation of the information that is. So I'm sure you might have heard of data interpretation, DI, in which you get the data, you get the tables, you get the graphs, and you have to pull out the answers from there. So this is exactly what science test judges you. Next slide, please. Okay, let's take an example. I'll read the 21st question, which is there. I would request all the answers from you guys. If a block was pulled towards the east, the friction force exerted on the block by the surface was directed towards the.
West.
West.
Can you explain why? Can anybody explain?
Opposing
Friction
force.
force. Friction force acts in the opposite direction of the motion of the object.
Perfect. This is because the friction always acts in the opposite direction of the motion to oppose the sliding between the two surfaces. Great. So these are the kind of questions that you
Sir,
get. So how much seconds did you actually take to answer this question? Not more than 10
5,
uh,
seconds?
not
5
more
seconds.
than 3 seconds.
3 seconds, right? So you are getting 35 minutes to solve 40 questions. So actually you can do some of the questions in just 3 to 5 seconds. That's where you will save time and you can use this time to answer the difficult questions or to read the other graphs and do the things. So these are the
Sir,
tricks that you have to pick up. Yes, Anand.
what type of questions are asked in space sciences?
I'll share the link with you so you can go ahead and take the diagnostic test. I'll talk about this in the coming slides, and then I think that would help you. That would answer your question.
Okay, sir.
Next slide, please. What are the tips? So if you spend 2 minutes reading the passage, then 30 seconds per question. And as we have seen, we can just answer some of the questions in just 3 to 5 seconds, not more than that. So that's how these are the tricks. You have to find these questions and attempt it fast. You have to read the entire text and then examine the graphs. So make sure that you are making the notes of the important things which are there when you are reading the graphs, when you are reading the bar table, or you are reading the other pie charts are there, or maybe some other questions are there. Make sure you are taking the important points down, you're writing those points. So whenever the questions are there, whenever the questions are asked, you can easily go through those points and you might be able to answer uh, in a bit in in a fast way as compared to if you're doing it other way around. The next slide, please. Then let's talk about the writing section. So this is the fifth and optional writing section. Please make a note that this is an optional section. You can check with the universities if they want the scores or not. It takes around 40 minutes to complete one prompt. Now, what is a prompt? This is basically an essay that you have to write. So this is an essay. That means you have to write it, but you have to type it on a computer from your keyboard. You do not have to use pen and paper. So in case if students, if you have a poor handwriting, you don't have to worry at all. You just have to type everything on the keyboard. You can go upwards, you can come down with your cursor, and you can make the additions, you can make the modifications. So your handwriting won't matter over here if you're taking the optional section. Let's go to the next. Now let's talk about the scoring of the test. So we have 4 mandatory sections and the total score is 36. So the perfect score over here is 36. In SAT, the composite score is 1600. Over here, it is 36. Now, what is this 36? This is the average of maths, reading, English, and science section. So you get the average of all these four sections. Students who have not scored better in English and reading might score better because they might have scored better in the maths and science section. That's the trend we have seen specifically in the science students. They are able to score better in the science and maths as compared to reading and English. That's the reason their score is increased. And if students are taking the writing test as well, then you get the writing score separately. That is 1 and 12. So 12 is the best score in writing. There is no penalty on the incorrect answers. So please attempt all the questions when you are taking the ACT test. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the scoring. So this is a sample of a scorecard. You can say it as a score report or report card that you get after you take the test. You get the composite score. Composite is the average of English, maths, reading, and science. You get the writing score separately from 2 to 12. Then if you can see the green part, STEM, and the blue part, ELA. What is this? You get the STEM scores and you get the ELA scores as well. So STEM is the score that represents your overall performance on the science and the math section, whereas ELA is the performance on the English reading and writing test. Now, where does it help? So, for example, if I'm applying to any programs like BTech, or if I'm applying for any computer science courses, the university can see my STEM score. That yes, it might be possible that the student has not scored better in English and reading, but still he has scored very good in the maths and science section. So his STEM score is high. So ultimately, a university would be able to see that yes, a student is actually more inclined toward the STEM courses. So he is a perfect fit for their college. And same applies to the ELA. If someone is applying for any literature courses or any humanities based courses, and if he has scored better in English and reading and not in maths and science, then also this will give you an advantage when you are applying to the universities. You also get one career readiness indicator, which shows that how ready are you to get into that college. So that is an indicator which is also judged on the performance of this course. Next. Super scoring. So super scoring is basically the best scores are taken. Suppose if you have taken ACT test 3 times, let's take the example of this. Uh, if I have taken the ACT in the month of April, June, and September, and my composite score, which are on the extreme side, are 21, 22, and 21 again, my best scores would be picked from all these 3 tests, and I will get it will be averaged out by divided by 3, and you will get a composite score. That's 23. So as you can see in this case, the composite score in April was 21, June was 22, and September was 21. But the super score is 23. So this student has never scored 23, but still he has got the composite score of 23 just because he has taken the test 3 times and he has got the super scores. But please make sure, please make a note of this, that super scores are not accepted by all the universities, but still there are universities who are accepting the super scores. So it is always good to take the test maybe 2 times, so that you never know if you can get more better scores once you are taking this test second time. Next slide, please. Then what is my ACT? So this is a portal which will help you to register for the test, to prepare for the test. You can get a lot of preparation resources, you can get practice material. So I think Ane had a question that how I can get, what are the questions that are covered in science. So all the free mock tests are available in this. So you can go ahead and take the mock test. You will actually come to know which kind of questions are asked in the science, maths, and reading, and other sections. So you'll get all the information over there. You will get timed and untimed sections as well. This will give you the actual flavor of the test. Once you have taken the test, you will get the scores on this portal only. If you have to send the scores to the university, again you have to come to this portal. So everything happens on this single portal. Next slide, please. These are the test dates. So September, October, December, January, sorry, February, April have already gone. We are left with the dates of June and July right now. 10th May is the last date for registration of June. With the late registration fees, you can still register till 24th of May. So students, in case if you're interested to register, please try to register before 10th of May. Else you will have to make additional $38 of payment to, in case if you're interested in taking the test in June. I'll talk about the test fees in the coming slides, but just to give you a brief idea, you have to pay additional charges in case if you're not able to register for the test by 10th of May for June attempt, and till 14th of June for July attempt. Next slide, please. So it is accepted by all the universities. More than 400 universities worldwide are accepting the ACT scores. Countries like Canada, South Korea, UK, Ireland, Germany, Scotland, Australia, all these countries need the ACT scores. All these universities, you can check with the universities if they want, you will have to take the ACT test. Next slide, please. Also in India, we are accepted. So that means with one test, you can apply to the universities in the US. With the same scores, you can apply to the universities in India. So students who are applying in the universities, US, they always have a backup option. They keep some Indian universities as a backup option. So now the list has increased. This is the old list. So we have around 11 universities as of now who are accepting the ACT scores. So they are Ashoka, OP Jindal, Flame, Kriya, Plaksha. Then SRM is one of them. Then we have NMIMS Mumbai. Then we have Manipal University. We have Sai University in Hyderabad. All these universities are accepting the ACT scores.
Sir, what about IIT?
You need to check with the university. As of now, they are not accepting it officially. Next slide, please. I think
Okay.
you have to take the JE and IIT for that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's go through one video. There's no sound. Okay, no problem. We can just. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so these are our testing locations. I'm sure there are students who have joined from multiple cities. So you can find your city, you can find the test center once you sign up on the My ACT portal and you choose your city, you will get the nearest testing center. So we have testing centers in mostly all the cities over here in India. Next slide, please. Then practice test. Yeah, next. So this is the online test that I was talking about. You can take the practice test. These are free of cost. You can just go sign up on the My ACT portal and you can just attempt the English, maths, reading, and science timed as well as untimed practice test. So you will come to know where you exactly are and how much preparation is required. Next slide, please. This is one of the sample that I've taken. This is how your portal will look when you are taking the test. So you have answered, unanswered, flagged question. You can even flag a question. If you're not able to answer that, you have to come back to that question, just flag it, skip to the next question. You can highlight your passages as well. You can see which questions you have attempted. So this is a very user friendly kind of portal that you get while you are taking the test. And there is a timer on the right hand side. You can see there's a timer as well, which will help you to know on which question are you and how much time is left to complete this. Next. Now let's talk about test optional. So test, if any university says that we are test optional, it is still suggested to take the test because you are not only applying to the university, and there are students not only from your school or from your class who are applying to these top universities. There are students from worldwide, from multiple countries who are applying to these universities. So it is always better you have the scores, you will get an advantage over the other students. Suppose there are 4 students and out of which only 1 student has taken the ACT test and applied with that scores, he is going to get an advantage because he has the scores. So even if a university says we are test optional, you should take the ACT test. Next slide, please. So let's take this example, University of Chicago. So this is a blog from there. This is a notice from their university. It says that they have gone test optional, but they still encourage the students to take the ACT test. Next slide, please. This is the another example of public Indiana State University. This is a public university in US, and they also say that ACT or SAT will still be required for certain merit-based scholarships. So if you're looking for scholarships in studying in US, you still have to take the ACT or the SAT test. Next slide, please. This is again one of the examples. Next, I want to come to the next slide. This is most important. This is a very recent news, just of 11th of April. Caltech University, which is one of the top universities, they have said that they have came back earlier. They were test optional, but now they are making it mandatory for students who are applying to this university to have the ACT or the SAT scores. Next slide, please. Again, this is one of the example. Harvard University. This is also very recent news. I guess this was yesterday or day before yesterday's news. They have again made it mandatory for the students to apply with the ACT scores to the university. So if students are planning to study in Harvard, they have to have the ACT scores. How you can register for the test? You have to go on the My ACT portal. Everything is online. You don't have to go to any office or anywhere else. You have to just go on My ACT portal. That's global.act.org. You will get the test fees over there. You will get the test dates over there. You will get the locations. You can just view your scores. You can send your scores to the universities. Everything happens on the same portal. Next slide, please. This is the official guide that you can purchase. So first I would suggest completely exhaust the free material which is available officially online or on our website. Then you can go ahead and buy this red color official guidebook, which is easily available on Amazon, and you can start preparing from it. The right time to take the test would be after you complete your class 10th, because the syllabus is still class 10th, and once you get a good 3 months of time, take the ACT test at that time, or once you are in your class 11th, Don't delay till class 12th. Students who are in 12th and have not taken the test, please hurry up. It's the high time. You have to take the test by June or July test intake. Else you won't get much time in the month of November or October, because you will be busy in a lot of university applications. Then your boards would be there. You will have to make your own profile, SOPs, LORs, a lot of things would be there. So students who are in class 10th and 11th, please take the test once your 10th is over, or once you are in class 11th. And students who are in class 12th, it's the high time. Please take the test in June or July intake. These are the free test prep material which are available free of cost on our website. You can just go. Please, I would suggest everyone to please, after the call, in case if you get time, please go ahead and sign up on the My ACT portal for free of cost, and just explore all the things which are there in the portal. Next slide. The test fees is $181.5. With writing, it costs you $206.5. So that means you have to pay $25 extra if you are taking the writing section as well. If you are not taking the writing section, you just have to pay $181.5. It comes to roughly around 15,000 rupees. If you are not able to register on time, then you will have to pay $38 extra to register for the test. You can send the scores to 4 universities for free, and then after 4 universities you need to pay $18.5 to send your scores. So the universities in US, they need the scores directly from us. It is not like you can download the scores and send to the universities. They directly want the scores from our portal. So you have to uh, choose the universities, in which universities you need to send the scores, and on your behalf we are going to send the scores to the universities, just to maintain the authenticity. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's all from my end. Any questions? Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions. Navya, thank you for for taking us through the slides. You can just unshare the screen and we can have a quick Q&A round of session.
Sure, sir. Sir,
Sure.
sir, actually, I have a doubt. Actually, I just completed my 11 boards and entering into a 12, and I wanted to give some like SAT or ACT. I was really looking for the coaching for SAT, and should I have to take it September? Like, I don't have so much time. I'm preparing for JE too because it's from my
Okay.
college. So, can I take it like at September and then go for later? Like, how many years it will be valid?
The scores are valid for 5 years, so do not have
Okay.
to worry. Even the students who are just completing their 12th, their 10th, they can also go ahead and take the test, because the scores will be valid for 5 years. So even if you're dropping 1 or 2 years after your 12th, then also the scores are valid and you can apply. Okay.
Can I take the test late? Like, you said to take it like in June or
It is
July.
always better to take, yes, it is always better to take the test as soon as possible, because once you get into the month of October, November, December, you will have a lot of other things to do as well. June and July is a good, you have summer breaks, you can start preparing in these 2 months, and then you can obviously, take the test in June or July. So ultimately, that's the reason we suggest students to take it. Okay.
What if I take it in September?
You can absolutely take it in September. That's not an issue, but please make sure that you have studied sufficiently at that time and you have that much of time in September. That's one of the biggest
So,
challenges.
if syllabus is provided in the
Yes,
SAT guide,
everything is there. Everything is there in the portal.
do we need any coaching for that?
It depends on you. In case if you need more preparation, if you feel like you're not much prepared, then you have to take the coaching. But we have a lot of official guides available. So officially, we would say that go ahead and start preparing from the official guides first. Take the mock test, take the free mock test, and purchase the official guide. You can start preparing from that.
If we are able to give the test properly, like mock test,
Yeah.
uh, is it
Yeah, you can go ahead
okay?
and take the test then. Yes, yes, absolutely fine. See, ultimately the syllabus and all is still class 10th only. So there's nothing special or nothing extra that what we are asking in the test. It's basic 10th level of English, maths, reading and science.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Sir,
So I think let's Anay, just give me couple of minutes. I will just start from the chat bot, the questions that I have got in my chat box.
Okay, sir.
Navya, would you like to just read the questions? I can directly answer them.
Sure, sir.
You can just start from Priyanka Bhandari. I'll read her question, then you can start from Jinal Mehta. Okay. So Priyanka has asked, I'm in class 12th right now. Is it still possible to get into one of the top universities of US? Yes, Priyanka, it is very much possible. Uh, Take the ACT test in the month of June or July, and then you can start. I think you will have to drop 1 year or not, but I'm not sure. You have to have a good profile. You have to have good scores in the ACT test, and you can start applying to the universities. Please make sure that your SOPs, your LORs, letter of recommendations are good. You have a good profile, and ultimately you can get into a top university in US. That's very much possible. Yes, Navya, you can go ahead and read the questions.
Jinal Mehta is asking, I would like to know, is it worth to do BBA to build a successful business?
Yes, why not? See, ultimately, it depends. You have to have a startup kind of mindset. You have to be interested in knowing the in and outs of the business. So BBAs ultimately will be helpful. Yes. So in the respect of time, I'll just take a few questions. I think we are just left with 10 minutes, and then we have some questions. Yes, Prashant, I can see you. I'll ask. I'll take your question as well. Harsh has asked, is it possible to get admissions in Dream University, Harvard through ACT? I think this is already answered. You have seen Harvard has made it mandatory for the students to apply with the ACT scores. Uh, Kuku has said, actually, I was ready to take the coaching SAT but didn't attempt the test. So, students who are confused between the SATs and ACT, I would suggest them to take a diagnostic test. That is a free mock test, which is available on our official website and on official website of SAT. Please take the mock test and then decide which test you have to go for. Please don't feel like, oh, someone has taken ACT, so I'll also take ACT, or someone has taken SAT in my relative, in my neighbor, so I'll also take the SATs. Please judge yourself. One test, maybe for me SAT is good, for you ACT is good, or vice versa. So please take a mock test, or the best way is please take both the tests. That's the right way to go ahead. You never know in which test you will score better. Priyanka has asked, which is easier, SAT or ACT? Again, it depends on you, which test you feel like is more easy. Please take the diagnostic test and then decide. Then Arushi has asked, is science section mandatory? Yes, so science is mandatory. The four sections are mandatory, even if you are doing the humanities courses. But as I said, being a commerce or humanities student, you can any which ways take the ACT test. Hitarth has said, sir, I'm in class 9, so do I aim for this later after my 10th grade? Hitarth, I would say you can start exploring the options. You can sign up on the ACT portal. You get one question on a daily basis on my ACT portal. So if you are just attempting those questions on a daily basis, you never know, once you are in class 10th, you will already be prepared for the ACT test. So, but take it after 10th, I would suggest. Advika has said, what if you are a commerce student and have taken science, it is necessary to take the ACT for universities? See, science and commerce doesn't really matter if you're taking the ACT test. Students from humanities, commerce, science, arts, any which ways can take the ACT test. And for universities, you need to check with the universities whether they want the scores or not. Generally, most of the US universities need the ACT scores. So that's why it is important to take the ACT test.
Sir, is the
Pravish,
recording available because I was late for the session? Like I joined it now.
Navya, I think Navya would be able to help you.
Ragini, you could message to Sakshi ma'am. She'll be able to guide you more for this, for
Okay,
the
so
recording.
Ma'am, how
Punk,
to message her? Like through
Uh,
WhatsApp?
yeah, you can message her on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, she'll be able to guide you.
okay, I'll just take
Sir,
it in a hurry. Punk has asked,
ma'am,
does
but I don't have a
ACT?
number.
You can just
Ragini, you can drop me a WhatsApp. You can drop me. I'll just drop my number. You can drop me a WhatsApp. I'll connect you with Sakshi. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you
I'll
so
just drop
much.
my details in the chat box. So,
Okay, sir.
does ACT for master's degree? Does ACT works for master degree? No, ACT is only for the undergraduate admissions. For your masters, you need to take other exams like GRE, GMAT, IELTS, TOEFL, PT. Those are the English proficiency tests. So, for ACT is only for the undergraduate admissions. Again, for PG, no, it is not for PG. Scholarships, yes. Does the ACT test help us to get the scholarship? Khushi has asked this question. Yes, Khushi. ACT is one of the most important part in case if you're looking for scholarships. You should have a very good ACT score. You should have a very good profile. ACT will definitely help you in getting the scholarships for your undergraduate. Prashant. Okay, Prashant, this is your question. Hello, from Emerald Heights International School. I want to ask if students are seeking additional support on guidance regarding the ACT and the college, and where would you recommend them to go? See, there are a lot of coaching institutes, but we generally suggest the students to prepare from our official resources. We have a plan with Kaplan. We have tied up with Kaplan as well. You can go over there in case, but first exhaust all the free resources that are there. You can also purchase the book from Amazon. You can start preparing from that. And after that, in case if you feel like, then you can look for the coaching institutes that are there. But we won't be able to suggest any particular coaching institute. You need to check in your vicinity, which is the good one.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Ishan has asked how much ACT is required for Harvard or for some other college. See, it's basically the perfect score is 36. I have seen students who have scored 36 out of 36. I have seen students who have scored 23, 24 as well. But a good score would be roughly around above 30. And the scores, not only scores matter, but you need to have a good profile. You need to have good academics. You need to have good extracurricular activities. So it is a holistic profile that you need to get admissions into the top colleges. It's not only you have scored 99% in your class 12th or 10th and you will get into Ivy League. No, it won't happen. You should have good uh, profile. That's why youvah, I think they are doing a wonderful job. They are providing internships to the students. This is a wonderful platform. Each and every student, I think you should recommend your friends as well to join the internships under youvah, and this will help you to build a holistic profile. And all these things matter a lot when you're applying to the universities in the US or any other country. More than 80% is expected for top universities. Yes, you can say, but again, your entire profile matters. About 32 in all sections. Yeah, Harshvardhan is. So Kritika is asking, hey, so I have recently completed my grade 10th, and as you told, it is best to take the ACT in grade 11th. Only I searched on Google to check the eligible age, which is 17 to 19. So it is necessary, or I can take the test earlier. I'll be 16 in this August. Kritika, I think you can take the test, but still, I will have to check this. Maybe once I'm dropping my contact details, you can just drop me a WhatsApp. I'll just check it from the team internally and I'll get back to you on this. So what are the other better options for PG program? So for PG, you need to check. I'm not very sure. I can only help for the ACT test and for the undergraduate admissions right now. But yes, what we are seeing, data science and programs in the computer science are, and plus MBA, these are some of the programs that are really good as of now, and our students are really getting good packages after completing data science courses and related to artificial intelligence and all. Anay has said, if you're not satisfied with the scores and want to reattempt the test, then what do you need to pay? Yes, you need to pay the fees again. The fees is $181.5. Every time you take the test, you need to pay $181.5. Okay, Sakshi has shared her number, so you can reach out to her. So Kuku, once you take the test, the scores will come in 2 business days. So you can expect the scores in 2 business days. Origami, Heather, my question is that if there's specific eligibility criteria, no. You need to check with the universities whether what is the eligibility criteria for them. But yes, for Harvard and all, you need to have the ACT scores. Are there any changes or updates to the ACT test format scoring? No, there are no changes as of now. There are 4 sections, as I told: English, Maths, Reading, Science. It's a 3 or 35 minutes test. That's it. Simran has said, just completed class 11th. Can I opt for ACT? Yes, Simran, that's the right time. Please take the test in the month of June or July, because you won't get much time in class 12th. BCA is a good option. I'm from commerce stream. Yes, Simran, you can easily take the science, I would suggest you to take the mock test which are available. You can start preparing. If you are feared of the science section, please attempt the questions. You will come to know what kind of questions are there. Start preparing. Give yourself 2 months of time for the preparation and take the test in June or July.
Okay, sir.
No, syllabus, the questions, obviously, the test is changed every time, but the syllabus is still class 10th. I'll share the official website link. That's my email ID. And
No, sir.
please WhatsApp me on this number in case if you have any questions. I would prefer a WhatsApp over the call because I am busy in certain meetings and all. So please drop me a WhatsApp. And in case if you want to reach out to me over the call, I would be more than happy to answer your questions. But we'll decide a specific time where we can talk. And but WhatsApp, you can expect a quick reply. Yes, somebody was asking a question. Last 1 minute. Hurry up, guys. Any
Yeah.
questions?
Hello, it's Harshvardhan. I just want to
Yes,
ask
Harsh.
why should I prefer ACT over SATs? And the benefits of ACT over SATs.
So if you compare both SCT and SAT, there you get these both are equally accepted. So there's no difference. This has 4 sections: English, Maths, Reading, Science, whereas SAT has only 2 sections: English and Maths. So if you're from science background, you would definitely score better in this. Plus, this is SAT is a computer adaptive test, whereas this is a computer based test. Adaptive test means in SAT when you are taking the test, you if you are marking the questions correctly, if you're marking the questions right, you will get more difficult questions. If you're marking wrong answers, you will get easier questions. But your scores would be, your maximum scores would be bracket out. The maximum scores you can get is 400 then out of 800. So that's how it works. But in ACT, we have a set of questions. Irrespective of your performance, your difficulty of questions won't be changed. So that's one of the biggest reason. Then we have this ACT test happens around 28 times in a year, whereas SAT happens around 7 times in a year. So this is one of the major difference. Plus, we have 4 sections. It has 2 sections. You get the scores in 2 business days in ACT. SAT takes around 12 to 13 days to get the scores. So that these are the some major differences. But again, I would say both are equally good. I would not say that one test is good and another is not. Both are equally good. Take both the test, or before taking both the before if you are choosing one, please take the mock test of both and then decide which
Okay.
test is good
Okay,
for
I
you.
have a genuine question. Okay, like I
Yeah,
have just given a mock test of SAT and my score came out of around 1520. So
great.
should I prefer SAT for, for the colleges,
Have
or should
you
I
have you
do
taken
ACT?
the mock test for ACT as well?
No, I haven't taken the mock test for ACT.
So take a mock test for ACT. You might score 36 out of 36. That's also one of the probability.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Are there any resources or study material you would suggest for ACT? So Suhani, you can go on this ACT website. You can just sign up, and once you sign up, you will get a lot of preparation resources that are there. We have paid resources, we have unpaid resources. We have an official guide that is available on Amazon. You can just check ACT official guide on Amazon. You will get a big red color book. You can purchase that and start preparing from that. So I think in the respect of
Sir,
time, it's already 9. We can just take
sir,
last one question. Yes, Anay.
sir, if you have taken SAT and ACT both tests, then what will be the
Choose the best.
result?
So
Because
ultimately, if you have taken both the tests, in whichever test you have scored better, please use those scores to apply to the universities. And it's always a
can you
good idea
apply?
to take both the tests.
Can you apply both the scores?
You can apply, but ultimately you will apply with the best scores, right? If you have scored 100% in one test, and if you have scored 90% in another, obviously you are going to show 100% scores to the university, not the 90% one, right?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. I think that's it, Navya and Gargi. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And I would give the stage to Navya now.
Right, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for providing us with such a lovely insight on ACT test. And I would also like to thank all of the people who were participating in the whole webinar, interacting, making this really knowledgeable session. And would also like to thank the youvah team for coordinating and arranging this webinar for us. This has been really amazing. Once again, thank you so much, Rishabh sir, for this. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
So much,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, everybody, for joining in, and special thanks to your team, Gargi, Navya, Sakshi, and all the other people. Thank you so much for making it possible. I hope I was able to answer a lot of questions, and now there's a lot of clarity for the students who are planning to study abroad or even in India. And I would love to answer your queries. In case if you have any queries, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, your team, for making it possible.
Thank you,
Bye
Rishabh,
bye.
for joining
Bye.
us. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Sakshi. Bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
All the best.
Thank you everyone for joining. This is all for today's session. You all may please take a leave. Good night to everybody.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.